day will come when the Horadrim stumble. Don't be there when they do.
This is the story of Diablo 4, Act 1 4, The Ruins of Tristram. After obtaining Anarius' blessing to cross the Black Lake in the wake of Lilith, we learned that we must obtain a ritual as well, which Nyrel believes may be found in the Horadric Vault located in the Mistral Woods. Returning to Yelesna and heading north into the maze-like woods, we find the bodies of dead villagers ripped to shreds by the many bats, wargs, and werewolves that stalk the wooded glade. However, in one clearing, there is a stockpile of supplies and the bodies of their previous owners. Treasure hunters, perhaps like Nyrel. Next to a nearby body is a dimly lit, gnarled statue bearing 3 heads. Activating it, it reads, "Behold the truths that lie within, and our path laid clear we utter."
There is something strange going on here. Nyrel must be nearby.
Cautiously, we enter the cave in search of Nyrel, and into the darkened hold. Inside the winding way, the air hangs thick with magics, and we can barely see 20 yards ahead. Delving deeper into the serpentine snowy path, we're unexpectedly assaulted by the very forest itself, as wood wraiths come bearing down on us. Perhaps worse is the throng of wrathful spirits, enraged at our unwanted interloping. Fatigued and lost, we almost give up our search for the young girl when we spy a peculiar sight. A red portal, and with the bloodied wolf standing by it who greets.
You're stuck in an illusion created by the Horadrim. The portal will lead you through this crude trap.
With nowhere else to go, we hesitantly follow into the fiery portal.
Relax. No harm will come to you here.
We find ourselves inexplicably in a hellscape of a town's ruins. Following the wolf into a town square, we see him sit by a well, seeping blood.
Who are you?
An admirer of sorts. I saved you in the mountains. You'd lost your horse and crawled into that cave. Would have frozen to death if not for me.
Why are you helping me?
Oh, it's very simple. You want to stop Lilith, and I want you to succeed. But you'll never do that by following the Horadrim.
Beside him, an image of a maddened man who recently escaped a gibbet to our surprise. We peer into the past and see none other than Decad Cain of the Horadrim, who was once trapped here. Why is Cain a part of this?
Their path always ends in fire and death.
Making our way over to the bony mass reconstituted as a cathedral, the wolf questions.
Seen enough. Open the door.
In turn, we follow the wolf and ask,
Why are you telling me all this?
To warn you. A day will come when the Horadrim stumble. Don't be there when they do. The portal will lead you to that little girl you're looking for.
Before we leave to try and find Nyrel, we then further question, what is this place?
Tristram, the Horadrim of old imprisoned Diablo, the Lord of Terror beneath the earth. And then they built this town nearby. You can see how that turned out.
What does this have to do with us? And why do you want to stop Lilith?
I like the world the way it was, without Lilith. A little game of rebellion will only lead to chaos. You've already seen visions of the damage she can do. Yes, I know you have fed her blood. Do you feel it changing you? Perhaps not yet, but as long as Lilith walks in your world, it is only a matter of time.
So this wolf knows we must stop Lilith before we succumb to her deadly blood. Before we leave, we see a stone of great power piercing the chest of a nearby corpse. We're then thrust into a final vision of a great warrior who used a similar stone in efforts to contain Diablo. But what does it all mean? Whatever the reason, we think it best to ponder outside of this plane, and so we step back into the fiery portal and realize where we are.
Back in the Horodrum's illusion.
Heading to the north, we see a figure in the distance and exclaim,
Neyrelle!
There you are! I think I've lost my way. The same thing happened to my mother and me earlier on. The trail to the vault ends here, so it should be somewhere around in these woods.
With Neyrelle by our side, we are again confronted by wrathful spirits of the dead Horodrum guarding the grove.
Is someone toying with us? This place is a maze. And now this. What's that supposed to be?
We then spy in the bushes a familiar three-faced statue of wood, and as before, examining it, we're ripped from the illusion or shroud of the Horodrum. Back on Sanctuary proper, Neyrelle claims,
I see. The path is different now. The statue was the source of an illusion. We must be close.
And to the west, a great stone structure in which Neyrelle exclaims,
Finally, the Horodric Vault.
Inside the abandoned main foyer, we ask, this is the place?
Not what I expected. But let's not give up hope. All we need is one book, one spell, to help us cross the Black Lake and stop Lilith.
With our task to find the spell clear, we can't help but wonder what happened to Lorith's Horodric brethren.
Sealed shut. What of the passage over there?
We soon see fresh blood and fear. This has become a place of great sacrifice. Looking at the sealed door, we ask, why were you and your mother looking for this place?
You assume we're treasure hunters, don't you?
I'm not assuming anything. I just want some answers.
Look, ever since I can remember, my mother took me around looking for Horodric artifacts. It was an obsession. And when she learned of this vault and wanted to find it, I couldn't say no.
Why not?
She was sick. Tried to hide it from me, but I knew she didn't have long left. This sort of thing, the hunt, it made her happy. It made me happy too. You have the answers you wanted now?
Leaving the poor girl with her thoughts, we search for access to the main chamber through the eastern wing, finding guarded by quill rats. A tome of lesser verse and incantations for fledgling scholars. We inspect it, seeing it's a worn, dusty book with a faded Horodric seal on the cover. We return to Neyrelle and she discovers,
This is... I think it's written in Horodric code. And here, the same symbol on the door. I have an idea. You might want to take a step back. Chaspith Chat. Let's keep on. I wish Mother was here.
With the entrance now open, we delve deeper into the Herodric vault with Neyrelle in tow.
Hey! Wait for me!
Discovering two wings, both sealed by glyphs and a giant floating orb in the center, we question, can you open this door?
It's the same seal as before. Should be easy enough to break it again. But why would someone use it here?
One way to find out.
Of course. We can't let anything stop our pursuit of Lilith. I'll open the door, and if we split up, we'll work faster that way.
Only if you stay on this side of the door.
Fine.
What am I looking for?
Don't you know? A book, a scroll, or anything that will help us cross the Black Lake. Chespith Chut!
Neyrelle then unlocks the seal, and the door slides open, revealing an ominous crimson glow within. Heading west through the halls, we encounter a demonic presence crumbling.
Demons.
Deeper in the vault, we're confronted by a mass of undead, surely summoned by Lilith to guard something of great import. And we find, on their leader's remains, a powerful shield, aegis of the embalmer. Although somewhat morbid to the layman, we equip it with Venard's knife, as reconstitution is part of the Great Cycle. And what better weapons to use against our enemy than their own? Inside the northern depths, we descend some stone stairs past a peculiar portal and are confronted by a screech in the desecrated archives.
Thief! You won't take my master's book!
The voice is that of Chort, a succubi herald of Lilith, bound to guard the tome we no doubt desire. Like her sisters, she hurls bolts of reddish electricity that burns us to our core, summoning burning balls of death in her wake, and flits about around a makeshift arena. We then bridge the gap, eviscerating her with a final terrible swing of our spectral scythe. Gathering the loot of her corpse, including a Stridus tunic, we equip it and new leggings before picking up the book she was protecting. To our shock, it's a book of Rathma's, and we question,
Why was a demon guarding that book? I should take this back to Neyrelle.
Bound in black leather, necromantic runes run along the spine of the grim tome. Unfortunately, our skill lies primarily in blood magics. We do not know how this book could be used to cross the lake. Leveraging the nearby teleporter, we find ourselves back in the foyer, and Neyrelle admits,
I hope you had more luck than me.
We then share, I found this book of my order.
Interesting. This ledger was written by the Herodrim. This is chronicling spells and theories created by Rathma, the first necromancer.
That's not what we are looking for.
No. But it can still work. There must be a spell in this book we can use to bring my mother back. She knows the ritual to cross the Black Lake.
Are you sure this is a good idea?
It's all we have. My mother will help us through. Meet me down there.
With our harrowing new goal to resurrect Neyrelle's mother in hope she will aid us, we pause to share before leaving. The passage was infested with demons.
I thought I heard something, but demons? How is that possible? It couldn't have been the Herodrim. They're secretive, but would never follow such a path.
I don't know, but Rathma, that cannot be just a coincidence.
You mean that we found Rathma's book here, and Lilith's going after him? My mother told me once, there are no coincidences where immortals are involved.
We don't remember our mother, just the necromancers who took us in. And it's that reason Lilith must be stopped before she reaches Rathmar.